Welcome to We Can't Even, the show where we desperately try but ultimately fail to even. I'm Todd Kreisman. My co-anchor, Bill Sackrider, unfortunately couldn't join me at the desk today, as he is having a catastrophically bad hair day. And we're big here on giving you the show that you want to see, rather than merely shoveling out some self-serving bull tripe. So a couple of us hit the streets of Hollywood to find out what interests you, what pisses you off, and whether you think a show like this is even necessary. What with your Trevor Noahs and your John Olivers and your Samantha Bees. Enjoy! When do you think America was great the first time?
America.
Do you think everything was groovy in 1776? No problems?
Actually, probably not. There was probably like some racism back then. All that stuff.
Maybe a little bit.
I guess in the 80s, for me, I was born in the 70s, so the 80s was my year of coming up. 10 years old, you're outside, you're playing, and you're helping push the lawnmower.
Something that you're really passionate about, but you don't hear about it enough on the news.
Where are you from?
I'm Italian.
And what do you think of America?
Well, I came here because we still think America is a great country and it gives opportunities to everyone.
So you don't watch our news a lot?
You should be focusing on the road ahead of you. Don't look around.
That's what my mom always says.
What do people think about America?
Man, people think that it's the coolest place. Yeah,
Yeah?
I think so.
That you guys are moving backwards?
Is that true?
Whereas we're moving forward?
It is true.
Yeah.
Can I stay at your house?
I mean, if you're going to merge over, look, and then keep going.
I'm taking you with me on my next road trip.
That you guys are quite like big and over the top, I guess, because
Sure.
New Zealand's
Good.
quite small. We're really
And
chill.
modest.
Yeah.
And we're all like,
Yeah.
God, that's a great question.
Thank you.
You know, what we say now is that you can't make fun of us anymore because of Berlusconi. Now you have Trump. So,
Yeah, but you gave us Tony Danza.
we're moving backwards.
Yes.
America.
What do you think is America's greatest resource?
Our burgers. Our burgers.
Burgers?
Burgers are really good.
That's where we're strongest.
Yeah.
I think a bird just tried to shit on us.
What do they talk about on the news in New Zealand?
Probably like Peter Jackson.
If you was old enough to ask me for some cereal, you were also old enough to get some of the stuff yourself. Your bowl, your spoon. Okay, I understand the milk's heavy.
There's been so many spoofs, like when it started, everyone's like, oh, Donald Trump's going to get it, and then he did, and we're all just like, okay, that actually...
Do you think the world needs another comedy show
Yeah, I
about
think
politics?
I think the comedians are doing actually a really good job at kind of telling the news how it is.
Yeah, for sure, always. Go for it.
One of the things we're going to be doing on this show is breaking down certain terms or concepts that might be unfamiliar or about which you might have only a foggy understanding. Because we know that sometimes your Googling finger gets sleepy. Happens to all of us. One way that politicians keep us off balance is by throwing a bunch of long, complex-sounding words at us, like cronyism or gubernatorial or caucus, which is unfortunately not as dirty as it sounds. Well, here's the long, complex-sounding word of the day: gerrymandering. For more on this, let's go to Two Girls and a Pizza.
Hey, Jen. Thanks for coming over. Now, are you ready to help me obliterate this pizza?
Sure thing, but first, I'm going to gerrymander the hell out of it.
What the hell are you talking about?
You know, what politicians do when they're setting the boundaries for electoral districts. Okay, so pretend this pizza is a county, and I'm a Republican, and all the pepperoni are people who are likely to vote for my opponent in the next election. So what I want to do is cut this pizza into 3 equally sized districts, or slices, you know, so it's fair.
Why 3 slices?
Well, one's for Bella. She's a big mamas and papas fanatic. Okay, so I'm going to cut the pizza. Yes, 3 equal pieces. Okay, so here is one for you. One for little Bella. And one for me.
Whoa. What's the big fucking idea?
Well, the big fucking idea is that if I had cut this pizza like a normal human being, there would be an equal amount of pepperoni on every slice. In other words, I could lose all 3 districts. So instead, I make geometry my bitch and ensure that all the pepperoni are on just 1 slice. So yes, I will lose that district, but I will win the other 2.
I see. Point taken. But now you can stop messing around and give me some of that pepperoni.
I may be conniving, but I'm not an idiot.
I hope the cheese lodges in your esophagus.
I want to address one concern you may be having. What are we, a bunch of 30 and 40-something old farts, doing trying to sound in touch with the younger generation? Well, let me stop you right there. You don't have to worry, because we are so dope. No, really, it's true. Let me give you an example. Just last week, I'm chillaxing with my bae. We're both pretty crunk, pretty turned up, and as I start lacing up my rides, I tell her she looks snatched. Now, she looks at me like I'm sus and starts throwing me shade like I'm some wanksta who's trying to be V-fly but ain't so Gucci, you know? So I ask her why she gotta be a hater when I'm haunted P, she's the one making it aux. She's like, bruh, you being a creeper, and TBH, that is not very lit. Bye, Felicia. OMG, I was not ready for that curve. I'm her BF, and I thought we were BFF, but I felt like I'd just been BF'd. It wasn't like her to be so salty, telling me to skirt. Do you know what I did? Instead of feeling canceled and getting all emo, I straight dropped her and got with another girl in her squad. Because YOLO. That's why. And because I am just that dope. Alright, so, maybe I did just find a slang dictionary online. A really bad one. And maybe we're doomed to sound like old people, no matter how hard we try. But we've got a PlayStation and some leftover pizza in the fridge. You can come over and hang out, have some if you want. If you're feeling hangry. Yeah. I'm trying too hard.
Are you running or planning on running for elected office? Are you worried you'll be up against an opponent who resorts to dirty tricks and low blows, or even worse, is more qualified? Don't be mad. Get even with that person. Call Attack Ad Professionals, where we take attack ads to a whole new level. Did your opponent vote for the Iraq War? We'll make him sorry he did. Did your opponent take a family vacation with the dog strapped to the roof of the car? Or even if he didn't, would people believe that? Maybe? Did your opponent claim that regulating CO2 emissions will make all plants go hungry? Is your opponent pro-choice? We'll make fun of them for it. Or if they're pro-life, we'll make fun of them for that too. As long as you've got a check, our morals are pretty flexible. But don't take my word for it. Here's a testimonial.
Those assholes at Attack Ad Professionals, they can eat me. I lost my bid for my house seat and most of my friends. Run! Don't walk! From Attack Ad Professionals! They're dicks!
Now there's a man who knows how to go on the offensive. So yeah, call Attack Ad Professionals. We're a bunch of dicks.
If you're like me, you tire easily of all the deflection and dishonest doublespeak we get from our politicians. Sometimes we just need someone to tell it like they see it, even when they're seeing it through a fog of pot smoke. Which brings us to our next segment, Let Me Be Blunt.
Hi, Hero McCallum. I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna be blunt. What's that? Blunty! Is that the one? Welcome to...
Do you want to do another one, or you feel good?
Ah! This is your brain. This is your brain. On Force Lightning!
I gotta kill some things. Oh, that's what I do to let off stress, because that has less death and just mania and lying than the actual world. If you ask most of the scientists in the world, they'd really like to live a lot longer because the world's kind of good and we can get a lot of shit done. I'm about to die rich people are like, I got mine, you guys can go fuck yourselves. I bet you can see which side I come down on here, despite the fact that I'm playing this video game where I'm murdering people. For life, we have an opportunity and a privilege to actually try to achieve something with our fucking selves, as opposed to just yanking it day after day. I'm talking to you, neckbeards. Hey, the world's still here. The world is still here. If life is as common as scientists think it should be, based on the immense number, something called the Drake equation, this number that is the amount of galaxies, stars, planets. Even if you took only the smallest sliver and put life on it and try for it not to fuck itself up, the universe should literally be teeming with life. Life is a motherfucker. It gets through shit to get itself where it goes. At least I thought it was before I saw Jeff Sessions, and then I just realized, no, life is shit eating itself. Why haven't the bajillions of alien races that should have annihilated us by now, why haven't they done that? Well, that is the Fermi paradox. There are a few solutions, one of them being the Great Filter. Was that civilization able to stop fucking themselves in their own assholes long enough to build anything? That's a logical solution to me as I look around the daily fuckery. It really just flies in the face of everything we were taught by G.I. Joe. It's noble to self-sacrifice, noble to be honest. All those things have been turned on their head. You lied and told us that we were good. We are lucky. Some fucking humility before our fucking hubris takes the whole fucking planet and dogs and kittens with it. That is the Great Filter. You are the Great Filter.
You got so angry.
Can you come wipe me? Get your head out of your ass, or it's over for all of us.
In case you haven't noticed, racial tensions in this country are pretty tense. I could talk about it myself, but that would be like me trying to tell you how much periods suck. I know they suck. I can fathom the ways in which they're unpleasant, but I haven't experienced them, so I should probably just stick to talking about penis problems. Anyway, on the subject of race, I'm going to hand over the reins to my significantly blacker friend, Asante Jones. Asante?
Alright, folks. It's time for a segment that we like to call Talking While Black. As you can imagine, I am somewhat of an expert in this area, given that I am not pigmentally challenged. If you are not as qualified as me to speak on this subject, then I'm talking to you. Often, people vote for what they believe suits their own self-interest. But if you work with a black dude, or you got a secret crush on that Asian girl, or you love doing shots with your Hispanic friends, you should try not to fuck them in the voting booth. I mean, if you're trying to fuck a black dude in the photo booth, I'm with it, get at your boy. But you need to be aware of how your vote affects non-whites. Listen, voting for people who continually propose legislation that tries to diminish equal rights and tries to take away people's rights to free speech and values money over humanity is not actually in your best interest. If your congressional representatives claim to be okay with the LGBTQ community, then they actively support legislation to reduce them to second-class citizens, your friend Twan is gonna hate you. And he might try to scratch your eyes out. That's why I give him the reason. I get that y'all love to vote against the status quo, but voting for change just for the sake of change with no regard for the policies that go along with that is short-sighted. Trust me, politicians know that an informed voter is a dangerous voter, because an informed voter can spot a self-serving, money-hungry asshat a mile away. Remember, when you cast your ballots, you're not just voting for one or two issues you believe will affect you. You're voting for all the principles and ideals, or lack thereof, that politician supports. Once you're in the voting booth, it takes literally 1 second to cast a vote for everything that person believes in. Now, if you agree with 2 things, but you hate 6 things they support, don't make it a Mensa puzzle. Cast your vote with empathy, thinking about how Twan and them might be affected. It's good for your eyes. Like carrots. Eat your carrots.
Now let's turn our attention to a truly terrifying proposition, calling our representatives. For more on this, I'm going to throw it over to my good friend, but he's more of an acquaintance, actually, Adam.
Adam! So, I hate my phone. I mean, I love my phone, but for all the things that makes it not a telephone. My Facebook, Snapchat, that thing that lets me deposit checks without getting out of my pajamas. But the minute I have to actually call someone, it's enough to Well, to make me ball up my fist and slam them on the ground, pissed off toddler style. So I get it. When people would say, call your representatives, I'd think, well, no thank you. I'd rather choke to death on my own uvula. A little dangly thing. But we have to do this. These people work for us. We're their fucking bosses. Can you imagine having a job where your bosses didn't check in with you even once? I really can't. So, when something's bugging you, even just a little bit, give them a call. It gets easier every time, like riding a bike or juggling or telling a friend that you owe money to that you don't have it just quite yet. It's coming. Look, I get it. Talking to complete strangers, especially about, things that you may not be 100% in the understanding of, can be just, Before I made my first call, I was dreading things that hadn't even happened yet.
The fuck do you want?
I'm calling to ask you to block the proposed American Health Care Act.
Only if you can recite from memory the entire contents of page 58 from the bill, motherfucker.
But in reality...
Hello, your local senator's office.
Hi, I'm a constituent, Los Angeles 90026.
Oh, great. Let me get some of your info.
So again, not this. My address is...
You think we care where you live? You think we're just gonna pop over for some fucking progressive dinner with your pussy-ass neighbors? Don't tell me where you live, unless you want me to stumble to your door, drunk, and sleep puke all over your couch next Wednesday night. Fucker.
But this...
Yes, you've reached the right office. What can I tell the senator for you?
I'd like you to tell her to take a stand and vote against the American Health Care Act. Any healthcare plan that would cost 24 million more Americans their healthcare by 2026 is an unacceptable replacement for the ACA.
Okay, great. I'll let her know.
Wait, what?
I'll let the senator know how you feel. After all, she does work for you.
You're damn straight she does. Yeah, you see? The nightmares, they don't pan out. It's so easy.
Before we sign off here, I just want to take a minute to talk to our younger viewers, all you guys and gals who will soon be of voting age, if you aren't already. I know you've got parents and teachers yammering at you all day long, and you're tired of being lectured at. Totally get it. We don't want to be those people. So just think of us as your much older friends, who have been slapped around a bit by the world and have, over the years, picked up a few ways to slap it back. Here's the thing. In the 2016 presidential election, 25.6% of the U.S. population voted for Clinton. 25.5% voted for Trump. 46.9%, over 90 million eligible voters, nearly half of us did not vote. Now let me tell you a quick story. I'm 17 years old, my birthday's fast approaching, I'm not super into politics, but there's some stuff I really care about. I don't like that our government is basically controlled by lobbyists. I passionately wish that LGBTQ individuals had all the same rights as everyone else. I'm appalled by the fact that we spend far more on our military than we do on education. And then I turned 18, and I was finally legally able to vote in my first local election. And when that day came, without a moment's hesitation, I voted to stay home and watch a Friends marathon. But then, months later, it was the 1996 presidential election, and I had a chance to redeem myself. Redemption's so overrated. I didn't vote in that election, or the one after it, or the one after that. For a long time, I told myself that my vote didn't matter, because it was just one of millions, and if I stayed home, it wasn't like it was going to sway the results one way or another. I was good at the maths. But somewhere along the road, it started to matter. I realized that voting wasn't just a way of coloring in a couple circles so the volunteers down at the community rec center had something to tabulate. Voting was a way of saying that I gave a shit, because so many people clearly did not. It was a way of taking part in the system, of playing some small role in affecting positive change. And if that didn't happen, at least being able to sleep at night because I knew I wasn't the reason that the world was getting more fucked up. I wish more than just about anything that I could go back. Be more interested. Be more involved. Learn what a demagogue is. That sort of vocab comes in handy nowadays. Again, I know there are a lot of people in your life telling you what to do, what your priorities should be. But this is different. I don't want you to care about politics, to vote, to call your representatives, to participate in protests, to TP the White House lawn because I'm saying so. No, do it for you. because you're going to be here for a while. And I'm pretty sure you don't want to spend your twilight years in an internment camp. So the next time you have a chance to vote, take it. Use your voice. If enough of you start speaking at the same time, people will listen. That's it for us this time on We Can't Even. Catch you on the flippity flip. Or something cooler. Last November, something happened that no one could have predicted.
No, not that. The other thing.
How could this have happened?
Are we dreaming?
Is this the apocalypse?
Are we being pranked by Ellen?
Ellen! Crafty bastard.
Here's how it happened. More than half the country didn't vote.
And a large number of non-voters are young.
Like, have never even heard of the Goonies young.
What we need is a revolution.
One without guns.
If the younger generation were to suddenly become interested in politics,
Educated about politics.
Active in politics.
Maybe we'd never have a repeat of this fucking circus.
Which is where we come in.
our goal is to speak to millennials
about what's important to them,
to help arm them with the tools to go out and make the world a better place.
While not condescending to them.
Okay, we're trying.
Our show is called We Can't Even.
Because we can't. Even.
In our many bite-sized segments,
we define and demonstrate confusing or mysterious political terms.
Express the difficulties one faces when talking while black.
How the fuck did he get that line?
Talk to people on the street about what they might want out of a show like ours.
And of course, we keep things entertaining.
With fake commercials.
Humorous sketches.
And weed-induced political rants.
Our first episode is in the can.
But we put this thing together on our own dime, so there's room for improvement.
Our stuff is not going to be confused with anything by Guillermo del Toro.
But with your help, maybe it could be.
We need to hire legit, damn it.
We need to hire legit lighting and sound people.
And purchase quality light and sound equipment.
We'd like to pay our actors, writers, editors, camera operators.
Our actors, especially our actors.
Well, at least a little something something.
Don't look at this as a donation.
Unless you really like to give your money away, in which case we'll take it.
Look at this as an investment.
In the future you want to see.
A future full of young people making the lines longer at the polls.
A future where everyone cares at least a little bit about what's going on in our world.
A future without crappy green screen effects.
Be the change you want to see.
By sending us your change.
Or big bills. Or whatever.
Because with your help.
Because with your help.
Because with your help.
We can even. Together.
Together.
Cool. Awesome.
BRP.
Awesome.
That's all I need.
Yay!
Stop talking. Shut up.